Can you unmute now, Connor? Were you stuck?
Yeah, let me know. I've been having microphone problems.
Okay, you're good.
Is it working?
All right, so here's what we're going to do is we're going to bring on Bobby Eunuch. So Jamie Trent reached out to Nick and I and said, hey, Bobby is looking for some help. She wants to get better fast. And so we're just gonna find out what's going on. I have no idea what's going on. Let's just find out what's going on. So Heather, if you want to go ahead and bring on Bobby. The anticipation. Hey, Bobby, good morning. Hey, let's unmute you.
Okay.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hey, thanks for reaching out. This is how you get better faster, right? Just say, hey, just tell me what I'm doing, not doing, and let's get on the right track. So you're in Jamie Trent's group.
Yes.
How long have you been with Equus?
Actually, about a year.
Okay. So were you doing face-to-face stuff before? You kind of tell us about your background.
No, I have a job.
Okay.
A job. And I've been trying to just peel away from that and go into Equus.
Okay.
It's just been a hard transition. And so, but when everything went virtual and the new platform, it changed everything for me. It really did. And then the texting, I kind of had a bad month in January because texting really threw me off. I was starting to pick up some momentum in December. But I'm doing things like I had to train somebody at my job to take my place so I could step out, because before that they just rely a lot on me, and it's just been hard. And
Okay.
So finally found somebody that I could train and start stepping away and start getting into this more actively. And like I said, the end of December, I was sort of picking up momentum. We went to texting. First part of January, I blew it. And I don't think I understood the follow-up text and how to handle that whole thing. And so I did get better. Like, just as an example, last Wednesday, I sent out 190 texts, and I had 4 appointments. And one canceled, one rescheduled for this week. And that was after him being a no-show. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, none of them worked out. I think I sat on one, and the husband was just not having it. So, I'm just wondering, how many times do you text people? So I sent him the initial text. Okay, copy it word for word, send the initial text, and then send updated times, and then updated times, and then how many times? Because at the beginning of January, I did what Nick Burns has said and sent closeout texts, and I still didn't get a response at all. And then do I go back to those leads now and start again, or are they gone? I'm just...
Let's jump in right there. Okay, Noel, I see you're ready to go. Noel's like, let me get in the game here. Okay, let's help you out, because Noel, we had a lot of questions over the last week or so about this exact thing. When you send the follow-up text, go through your process, if you will.
So I was talking to Andrew Pappas, and he was, him and his mom were one of the original ones who trained us on this. And he was saying that they will never send a closeout text, ever. There's only 2 ways to close out a lead. Either they respond to you and tell you to go away, stop contacting me, or they send you a message booking an appointment. So I keep texting. A lead is not dead to me until I get a response from them. I don't care if I've sent out 25 texts. Like, you can go back through the text history and you can see I've sent them 25 appointment and updated time slot texts, and they still haven't responded. So I'm going to keep texting them until they respond. And so my process is I'll get a stack of leads that I want to text through, and I'll text through those as quick as possible. And then I go back and I look and see all the responses that I've had. If it was F off, then I take them out of my pile and stick them in the not interested pile. If they booked an appointment, I book those appointments, and I send them the appointment reminder text. That way they're, official on my schedule. And then once I get through that, responding and filling in my calendar, then I go back with the updated time slots. So I remove the spots that have been taken up in my calendar, and then I just copy and paste as quick as I possibly can through all the rest of them. Now, a mistake I was making was I was only sending out like one update, so I was texting a lead twice. And Andrew Pappas told me, he's like, I will contact them 5 to 10 times in a day. So I will send an updated time slot every single hour. Okay. So they're contacting on a daily basis, each lead 5 to 10 times. Okay. So you just need to contact them more until you finally get them to respond to you. Either F off or they'll book an appointment with you. And I've had numerous private messages and messages on here and posts and stuff. People say, well, do you care that you've already texted them 17 times? No, I don't care. I literally don't care. I'm just going to keep texting them until they respond to me. So get out of your head. Not you, Bobby, because I don't think you are in your head, but so many people are. So this is to everybody else who's stuck in your head. Get out of your head. Don't worry about what people will think about you or how many texts you sent and this and that. And it doesn't matter. Just stop caring. I give you permission. Just keep texting them until you finally get a response.
Okay.
Hey, so question, Noelle, let me ask you, let's stay right here real quick. So if you send those initial texts out and you go back and you haven't received any responses, what do you do then? So all the time slots are still open. No one's responded yet. How long do you wait? What's your next move?
I'll wait about an hour. So I'll let those seeds sprout for about an hour. And if I haven't had any responses, I'll take out 2 of my time slots, even if they're not booked, even if nobody booked anything. I want to look busy. I want to look like people are taking my spots and people want to work with me.
That's huge. That's
huge.
huge. That's one of those nuggets, Tim Herbert. So if you text, you check it an hour later and no one has responded, what you'll do is you'll purposely take out 2 of the time slots to show that, hey, it appears that someone has booked those times. Here are my updated times still available.
Yep. And then I'll do that again in another hour. I'll take out another 1 of the slots and then, continue to do that until your time slots are booked up.
What if you have, so that same stack of leads, let's say you fill your time slots. What do you do with the ones that haven't responded the next day?
I'll just read again, the initial, Scott, this is Noelle Hughes, your senior field underwriter. And, I'll just copy and paste the original text.
Okay.
And then keep sending them the updated time slots throughout the day.
Okay, let me ask you this. Hang in here with us, Bobby. I'm going to ask a couple of questions because I think it's around some people asking the same thing that you're talking about, Bobby, with some additional commentary around it. So, Connor, do you text every lead every day? That could be 500 texts. Or do you put fresh ones or old ones, fresh leads, whether they're brand new or older leads you just purchased? Do you stick those into the stack as well that you've already texted?
So I'm really funny on this. So there's only 1 stack of leads. I've gone into people's offices before. Noelle, you've seen it too, and they have 8 stacks of leads, and it's oh my gosh, my anxiety is through the roof, right? Here's what you guys got to realize. Back when we were calling on the phone, did we ever change the script? If we called 8 times a day, did we ever change it? Nope. Here's the thing that we got to realize, which I think is difficult, because Bobby, I think the answer is so we've actually put together, I sent it to Scott, we're finalizing it. It's basically a PDF document of each day of what we would recommend to text. So we've already put it together. I was just finalizing. I mean, Scott, I sent it over to you. We can get that on the training site. But what I would tell you is just keep it really simple. But Noelle hit on the head. It's just like back when we used to make phone calls, even back when we were in the field. I used to get the question all the time on here, instead of how many times should we text, it was how many times should we call, right? And it's just shifted to that new question, because what would happen is we'd call somebody 3-4 times in the morning, and then 3-4 times again, and then again and again and again. And then we'd have agents go, oh, well, why do you call somebody 14 times in a day? And it's well, we need them to answer. Same thing with the texting. So the first thing I would tell everybody is here's the mindset you have to have, okay? and it's hard to get to, but the fact that they don't answer the first text or the first phone call annoys me to no end. It makes me burn alive. Because why would you request information, put your phone number on it, then not answer a phone call? Does that make sense? Or answer a text message? So the last thing that you ever need to feel is feel like you're bugging them or feel like you're being a nuisance. They're the nuisance. Okay? It's obnoxious, some of these people. Like, it annoys me. And then they finally answer and they're like, why are you contacting me? And it's like, man, I don't know how unlocked your door today. Like, I'm worried about you, right? But that's where, again, so get that thought out of your head. The second part is for everybody on the call, because I've made this mistake before, you have to start early. Like what Noelle is talking about, if you start dialing after this call right now, or not dialing, but texting at 11 o'clock, you're not going to be done until 1 or 2. And now all of a sudden you're going to be trying to send updated times texts at 4 o'clock in the evening. Nothing's going to happen. So the first thing you have to do as well is either hire somebody or start texting. I mean, the first text needs to be sent by 9, if not earlier. So that would be the first piece of advice is you got to start early because you got to give it time to send those other texts out. I mean, like Noelle, again, like you can't text at 11, be done at 1, and then text updated times from 2 to 5. It's just too late. You got to make sure you're doing it earlier. But second thing I'm going to hit on, which is not really a training thing, on C leads, what's the ratio? 1 out of 10 you're going to book, right? It's the same thing like we talked about with virtual. The ratios are not going to change. So the difficulty for all of you as well, as I see this with a lot of newer people, really, Bobby, this might not relate to you at all. So that means if you buy 40 C leads, $80, you should book how many appointments? 4, maybe 6, right? 4 to 6, it's the ratios. So here's what I notice as well, though. We get new people on and they go, I've sent 287 texts today. And it's like, yeah, you've texted the same $80 for the C leads for the past week and a half. And then you're getting on the call and then complaining that you're not getting any activity. So what I would tell you as well is you have to look at this business like it's a business because it is, right? A leads, it's 10-6-3, it's the golden rule, right? So that means if I buy, right, 10-6, that means if I buy 10 A leads, I'm going to book 6 appointments, right? You might get 7 or 8, but stay true to 6, right? Now, what we've noticed, you don't need 40 A leads to book 6 a day, okay? So the ratios are a little higher than that. But again, the point is, though, is don't expect to buy 10 A leads and then book 3 days full. Does that make sense? Yep. Like if I ask Noelle, hey, if you have 10 A leads, can you book a full week? She's going to laugh. But the issue is we have people that buy $120 worth of C leads and then they shoot text all week and then they complain that they're not getting enough activity. So that's something that you need to look at as well, because this is a business and we do have stats. I mean, there's analytics in our business and we know based on a certain amount of leads produces X amount of appointments, which produces X amount of applications. So you have to, basically what I'm saying as well, because I've seen it in my own office, you can't text the same 300 C leads that you've had for 2 months and expect a different result. Okay? Once you cook through those, I'm not telling you to get rid of the leads, but you have to learn again to make sure that, again, re-upping every time for every week, again, because the ratios won't play out. But when it comes to texting, I mean, Noelle hit it on the head. We'll get that PDF put out on the training site, but being honest with you, just shoot out that same text. And what I do, Bobby, is I'll stray away from that sometimes after I send 2 or 3 texts for the day. And I'll literally be like, hey, Bobby, this is Connor. I've messaged you a few times today. Let me know what time works. Thanks. Like, so they know it's me. Does that make sense? Like, because they keep getting all these formal texts and I'll be like, hey, Bobby, like, this is Connor. I need you to respond with a time. Thank you. So that's, I think, throwing in that real informal text works really well. I mean, I recommend that maybe 2 or 3 days in, but that's a great way as well. Like I send a text out. It was on the PDF I sent Scott. It just says, hey, Bobby, you've probably been busy. You've noticed I've been reaching out, trying to find a time to get a hold of you. Let me know what time works. I'm free today between 3 and 8. So that informal text, I think inserting is smart because it relaxes people because they feel like they're just getting copy and paste. Okay. But the answer is, again, it's just massive activity. I mean, we used to have back when we dialed on the phone, I mean, we would dial until 3 p.m. sometimes. I mean, I was on the phone sometimes till 4. So I think what happened as well is we need to make sure we set the expectations right. Texting is not easier per se, okay? It's just more efficient, just like virtual. Like virtual is never easier than face-to-face. It was just more efficient. Same thing with texting. So again, the ratios are still true though. So for all of you that are struggling a little bit, make sure to dive into your numbers and talk to your manager about, again, the different ratios if you're kind of confused on them, and talk about a better lead plan. And then also talk about, again, based on what you have, what you should book. Okay.
Yeah, those ratios, I'm getting a bunch of questions around that. So C leads, you should book 1 out of every 10. B leads, you should book 1 out of every 6. A leads, out of every 10, you should book 6 appointments. So those are your ratios.
If you can beat the ratios,
ratio on D leads. What's that, Connor?
I said, if you can beat the ratios, great, but just don't expect it.
Yeah.
Okay, like it's like if your car says it gets 30 miles per gallon, but you're cruising on the highway and you get 32, right? It doesn't mean if your gas tank says you got 30 miles left that you drive 32 miles to the gas station, right?
Yeah. Yeah, keep fresh stuff in the stack. Noel, answer this question for us. Do you get to a point when people aren't responding, you pick up the phone and start calling them?
I personally don't. I don't miss dialing. There was one day where I did not get my appointments via text, so I picked up the phone and I dialed them, and I booked them, and they all no-showed me. They all no-showed me that day, and I was, it's one of those things where you're like, well, maybe it'll work, but it really did not. I will dial landlines. Yep. If I send a text message and it comes back a landline, it's my responsibility to contact these people and get them the information, so I will do that. And I will keep dialing them, 3 times in the morning, 3 times in the afternoon until they respond to me. I'll leave them voicemails. I'll treat it the same way that I treat the text messages. I'm going to contact them until they talk to me and tell me one way or another. They're going to give me an answer. It's my responsibility to do that. But other than landlines, I don't really miss dialing. I really don't miss it. I think texting is a lot more efficient. I'm really, really happy to not get any more no-shows. That one day when I got a bunch of no-shows, I was like, yep, okay, back to texting. It works better.
Yeah, when you're good on the phone, it's tough because you can talk people into appointments. You can talk them into appointments. That's where your no-shows go. On D leads, or the D and IPLs, we don't know the ratios on those. We haven't had the data on those yet for how many texts does it take to get an appointment. So not sure on that one.
I was gonna share this, Scott. Kyle Van Loo has been texting a lot of B leads as a supplement, and also to try to learn the B lead system a little more. He also tried C leads. His best response rates have been on B leads. So the one thing I would tell y'all as well, like if you're working B's and C's in C's or D's, I mean, I got to tell you again, I don't know the ratios, and more is always better. But yeah, Kyle just texted me as Ron. He said half my sales are B lead sales. So the one thing I would tell you guys, because with texting, again, it's still a different kind of client, because the appointment's even more solid because they're saying, okay, now I've read the text that says it's about mortgage protection and I'm booking an appointment. Okay. So the quality of appointments is going up. But with B and C leads, I would recommend B's. So like if you're going to put money into your leads, go for B's heavy, supplement with C's maybe. But I just wanted to share that because I think we have a lot of people as well trying to buy a lot of D leads. Here's the thing, you guys, okay? Because we will always see this. You cannot cheat the lead investment.
Right.
Okay? You cannot. And I know a lot of you are on here like, this is a training call. Why are you talking about leads? Because our entire system doesn't work without leads. Okay? It does not work. So what I would tell you as well, what I mean by cheating the system, we're not telling you to invest every dime you have, right? You need to create a cash flow to purchase leads. You need to be smart with the income coming in. But when it comes to, like, what I've seen is people, they buy C and Ds, Noel, and they go, I'll buy 140 C and D leads and it's only $200. I'll sneak away with that, right? And then it's just every week that happens and they're like, but I got 140 leads. We're like, yeah, but again, like we've already explained the quality, right? So that's where a lot of you as well, if you've been doing this a couple of weeks, push heavier towards B's.
Yeah, the lead investments is really important. You know, for $500, you can expect to write between 3,500 and 5,000. 3,500 and 5,000. $500 investment for every $500 investment. Double that to $1,000. You should be $7,000 to $10,000 in premium.
Get excited about the investment, you guys. Okay. I remember when I got started, my dad told me, he goes, Connor, buddy, you got to get to $1,000. And you're talking to a senior in high school. I'm like, Dad, I only got $350, and it was from grandma from Christmas, right? It's like, come on, what are you talking about? He goes, you go buy the B's and C leads, you work your tail off, you write an app or two, you take that money, you reinvest in the business, and you get it flowing. You have to do it, but get excited. Like, I was so nervous when I started my $1,000 a week standing lead order, but it changed my business. And I became excited when the leads came out because I knew what it was going to create. So everybody on this call, I don't care if you are literally socially awkward. If you get $1,000 with an A leads, you're at least going to break even. Okay. I promise you that you are going to break even. Okay. If not, give your leads to a buddy and they'll break even for you. Okay. Like, I promise you. But that's where, again, just you have to change that thought process, because a lot of you are on here texting C leads repeatedly for months and months and months and then complaining that you're not getting the results. You have to change that business mindset, or it's just going to be a slow burn.
It's so weird. I remember that conversation with Rob and Connor. We're at Rob's old house. And Connor goes, the only thing I have, Dad, is my Christmas money and birthday money. He goes, okay. He goes, how do I get leads? I'm investing. That's so weird. It seemed like it was yesterday. Okay, here's the next question. Hang in there with us, Bobby, in case you have some more questions. Okay, older agent, I've got, here's where you find this. So brand new people. So they like just got their ICA done yesterday or last night, and they're on here this morning. To find the training on virtual training, go to log in, the dashboard. You'll see a big box that says training. Click on that. There'll be two boxes at the top. It says training and virtual platform. Click on the virtual platform, then scroll down just a little bit. All right. And you're going to see all these boxes. That's where you join the daily coaching session today, unless you joined it on the dashboard. That's what the daily coaching session is. But there's a white box right there. It says 8 steps. Get started here. It's crucial that you go through the 8 steps. Otherwise, you're going to be flying blind and not know how to do virtual at all. That's going to tell you everything you need to know about virtual. Setting up your virtual office. The text script is on step 5. Step 5 is the text script right there. So go grab that. Cut out using the. So yeah, I mean, listen, on the closeout text, I got a question on that. Should I stop using the closeout text? Yes, the coaches are saying yes, stop using that.
If you send a closeout and then text back, you can still do it, Bobby. So if you send it to your text, you're fine.
Yeah.
But with the closeout text, the issue is you send it, Noel, and then you send them another message, and they're like, oh, goodness, this person's a ding-dong, right? Like, they just closed it out, and then they texted me again.
Yeah, so Hunter, we'll take that off the training center, the closeout text.
More Impossible Burgers.
Okay, let's see here.
Say again?
Bobby, more
Do
questions?
you want another Impossible Burger without bread? So you have 2. I was going to make it with risotto, cauliflower. Or do you want bread in a bun?
Just put in bread.
What?
Bread, just put in bread.
Okay. You don't need a second burger because there's no. Okay. All right.
Thanks.
Love that.
It's
Yes, very cool.
yeah. Thank
We
you.
have one from one of my grandfathers, so that's incredible. But incredible background, looks fantastic. A lot better than mine.
Okay. Thank
Okay, here we go. Let's keep rolling here. If you send a text to a landline, does it initially come back, say landline? What does it say, Noel? Landline?
Yeah, it's just like an automated 800 number saying the number you just texted was a landline. And it sends like 4 of them to me in a row. It's not just one. They like really want me to know that that's a landline. So if you text a landline, you'll know. They'll send you like 4 text messages. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, there you go. That's a
They
landline.
want you to know that that's a landline, huh, Connor?
Yes, send the same initial text. It doesn't matter whether it's A, B, or C lead. Doesn't matter. We're using the same text. When should you, okay, here's a question, Noel. Do you purchase leads at the beginning of the week for the entire week? Do you purchase just for today? Then you go back in tomorrow and get just for tomorrow? How does your lead investment look out throughout the week?
So I'm on a standing lead order. in a bunch of counties because I want to have consistent leads throughout the week. So leads drop, I don't even know the days. I think on like Saturdays there's a drop, on Tuesdays there's a drop, and then throughout the rest of the week they just kind of trickle in as they come in. So every day I go into my opt and there's a few leads there. I think there was a question earlier about how you manage your stack. Like, do you text the newest ones first? Yes. Always text the newest leads first. And so my stack, I follow the Connor Jones system. It's one stack. The newest leads are at the top, and then the further down you get, the older and older and older they are. So the new ones always go on top, and then, you just flip it upside down as you text it. So it still stays in chronological order. Does that make sense? But yes, I get leads throughout the week. And if I text through my entire stack and I'm updating it and I'm still not getting the response, I've gone in and purchased instant purchase B leads before. Absolutely. And I've written business. So no, I would not necessarily get your big stack at the beginning of the week. I mean, if that works for you, sure. But I believe in fresh leads daily. That's how I prefer to do business. And I remember Connor Jones one time being like, I get in like a blind panic if I don't have new leads. And like, I'm calling the leads department like, did the world end? My lead order's not filled. And it's the same way. If I come in and I don't see new leads, I'm like, oh no, it's going to be a bad day. But when I see, 5 or 6 brand new leads, it's kind of like, oh, okay, it's a good day. I'm like a lead junkie. It's kind of a bad thing.
Connor, do you have something to add to that?
Yeah, being a lead junkie is a real thing, though, Noel. I feel that. No, it's like if I wake up and I got like 15 leads and I'm like, oh, this is going to be great, right? This is incredible. It's better than my coffee this morning. But here's what I'm going to tell all of you guys, and I'm going to be tough right now on a lot of you. I look at the gallery view for a lot of these calls, okay? Some of you, by the way, need to realize you're on video, right? But here's what I'm going to tell all of you, especially because whenever we talk about lead investment, everybody's eyes get like this big, right? Either the eyes get big or people start to slouch because they're like almost like embarrassed or nervous. Okay, here's what I'm going to tell you, okay? Part of our profile of a person we look for is somebody who already has a job, okay? Because the problem is, and you got to hear me out on this, lead investment stresses a lot of people out, and I understand that, right? It's expensive to live nowadays, okay? What you need to realize, though, is the lead investment has to be there. So here's what I'm going to tell you, okay? Now with the texting, this is an all-in kind of thing. You can't play around when you're starting a business. So like if you're sitting right now watching this call and you go, man, I really don't have the money for my lead investment. Okay, I'm going to give you a piece of advice, okay? You're going to text your leads in the morning. You're going to download an app called Uber, or you're going to get something called Grubhub or DoorDash or whatever you want to download. And what you're going to go do is for a couple hours during the day, you're going to go make money to invest in your business, okay? That's the way that you need to start thinking. This is a business. This is something where you're trying to grow the revenue. If you got to go out and you got to find that extra little piece to make a little bit extra money, or go out on a Friday and DoorDash a little bit, like I have a guy in my group. I just had a really hard conversation with him, Rembo, and he didn't have the lead investment, and he was booking like one appointment a day. And I said, I have to tell you, man, this isn't working out. I go, you are going to crash and burn, period. I'm not going to fluff it. I'm not going to tell you that a miracle is going to happen and you're going to write 38,000 in a day. It's not going to happen. You don't have the lead investment. It's like $100 a week. I'm like, it's not going to happen. He write like one app and it paid for the month in leads, and he was making like $500. It's not going to work. So you know what I told him to do? I go pick up a part-time job on Friday. I mean, you have to learn to be intense, because the problem is, again, do not allow yourself just to continue to float by. You got to make massive change to make sure this works. So for all of you watching this, again, like, you have to get that lead investment. Like, I know that we skip and paddle around it, and I've done it before too. It has to be there. You are going to get killed if you don't have the lead investment. So you need to realize, again, that this is your business. Scott Rembo's not your boss. Noel Hughes is not your boss. Connor Jones is not your boss, okay? Neither is Nick Burns. You got to do whatever it takes. Like, Scott, I was laughing. Like when it snowed in Ohio the other day, I'm like, man, I remember when I was a kid, I'd go out and make $1,000 a day shoveling snow. I'm like, not one doggone person asked to shovel my driveway. I'm like, this is the lazy America we live in, right? But the point of it is you do whatever it takes. We work 4 days a week. You can text in the morning. You're free for 5-6 hours during the day. Go out and make it happen. Stop waiting for a miracle day and start realizing that, again, we have numbers, okay? We realize we have statistics. We have our ratios. Go out, get it done. Again, this isn't a long-term thing where I'm telling you got to find another way to make money. What you need to do is put yourself in the right position, go out, 30-day period, 90-day run, and get yourself into a financial place where you can get to 1,000 a week after 90 days and really put yourself in a position to make some real money. Okay?
Yeah, as we wrap to that point, that's a great point, Connor. I'm glad you hit on it because that was exactly what was on my mind. You have to do whatever you have to do. We talked about it the other day. Sell stuff on Facebook garage sale. I remember, to stay in the business so that we controlled our destiny. I remember telling Kimberly, we'll get another sofa. Don't worry about it. Nick Burns, we literally had lawn chairs in the house at one point with hand-scraped hardwood floors, but no sofa with lawn chairs. Because it was like, we got to keep going. I don't want to go back to where I was before in the corporate thing. I want to stay alive in the business. So you got to do what you got to do. Go sell stuff. You can replace it later. It's not that big of a deal. Like, you'll find a whole bunch of stuff to sell. As soon as Kimberly started getting sales and people were picking stuff off the front porch, I was like, here's some more stuff. Here's more stuff. Let's keep going. Because I thought, let me get some lead money for next week too. And for the next week, let's just keep it going. Noel, once that thing got rolling, I was like, the momentum, it was just fueling, like, let's keep selling everything. We can get pots and pans later. We don't need that stuff now. You can sell anything on there. It's crazy what you can sell on there. Go sell that fish tank that's been sitting in your garage empty for 2 years. Just go do whatever you have to do. You know, I think about Coach Mosley right now. Coach Mosley is in his classroom. His kids are doing their work for the day. He's on camera right now. He's done this ever since we started virtual. He has a laptop pointing at him or a tablet pointing at the side of him, and he's in class right now, and he has an earbud in listening to us. Because he's doing whatever he has to do to make sure he gets himself in position to win. He loves teaching. He loves coaching. But he also would love to be able to walk away on his own terms. And he's fighting to do that. Guy put $8,600 in his bank account last month, and here's what he does. On his teacher break, whatever you call that break during the day, the hour session, he texts all his leads so he has appointments when he gets home at night. So it's do whatever you do. Joan just texted me and said, hey, I'm sorry I'm not on camera, but I'm at work and I'm listening. Those are people that are doing whatever they have to do, right? They go, I don't care what I have to do.
Wonderful day.
I want to get out of this.
Yeah, you
Love
too.
you.
See you later.
And then maybe tomorrow we could deal with that key situation.
Yeah. In fact, you want to just leave it.
Oh, that's a good idea.
It's not going to do you any good.
Nope.
This one? But you need this key, right? So...
I think. Do you want a knife? Butter knife? Thank you, baby.
See ya.
If you have 10 A leads, you should book 6 appointments. Right? And then but you got to decide, to Connor's point, and I'm glad he hit on this. You got to decide, okay, enough's enough. I'm going to quit. You can't dabble in this or it'll be expensive hobby. It will become an expensive hobby. You got to go all in. Can you do it part-time? Absolutely. Look at Coach Mosley and Joan and a number of other people that are out there just going, I'll do what I have to do. I'll send out texts before I leave to go to work. And then on my lunch break today, I'll check them and I'll respond to people and confirm their spots. So just do whatever you have to do. Bobby, thank you for coming on today.
Thank you.
You helped a lot of people today because a lot of people have had those same questions and frustrations. We'll get the PDF up on the website about when you send out those texts, different texts. That'll be coming up. So thank you for being on with us today. Great job, coaches. Thank you so much. Guys, go out there and get your 6 minutes. Do whatever you have to do. It's worth it. We'll see you tomorrow.